Peace. This is the enemy's public, and I am Bro.Nasir. Tonight's discussion, we're going to talk about all these weapons of mass distraction. In the midst of the Derrick Chauvin trial for the murder of George Floyd, the anti-Black sentiment that's going on, the setup of Black people with this so-called uptick of Asian attacks.
Mic is not on.
My mic's not on?
Go out and probably come back in.
Okay. Yes, with all these different things to distract us from what's really going on, we want to deal with all of these weapons of mass distraction. Gonna wait till the brother go out and come back in. Your picture is frozen also. We need to be mindful of the underhanded things that our enemy do. And they want to take the focus off racism, white supremacy, and make us out to be the villains in all of this, not going for it. Did you go back out, brother, and come back? Did you go out? It's frozen.
Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum salam. How you doing this evening, brother?
Fine, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
Got some feedback.
You getting echoes?
Yeah.
You sound loud and clear.
I sound clear over there?
Yes, you sound clear. How do I sound?
Yeah. You're clear. I'm getting echo on you though.
You sound loud and clear. You don't. I'm not hearing no reverb or echo.
Okay.
Say, let me see. Let me remove this. You're in here twice.
Freezing.
No, yeah. The first one is frozen. I don't want to
repeat that again, beloved.
The first one is frozen. I don't want to touch it because it's not. Yeah, but let me see. Okay, we're good now. Say something now, brother. You good now?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah,
What
I'm
I
not
was
getting no reverb now.
okay, because you was in twice. That's why. You was in
Okay.
twice. Um, what I was saying was there's a lot of weapons of mass destruction taking place because they're trying to take the focus off racism, white supremacy, and put the focus on us to make us look like the villain with all this anti-black sentiment, and and to take the focal point of what they're doing basically all over the nation with the George Floyd murder trial,
Hmm.
um, the peace to balance truth, peace to the
Hmm.
brother, um, with the George Floyd murder trial, the so-called anti-Asian violent attacks they say that we're doing, and when they show a white man doing it, they only show it one time and they leave it alone, but they keep showing the same footage of the same so-called attack. And not only that, this attack at the building where they said the security guards didn't intervene, we can't tell who that is
Mm.
because it's from afar. It could have been a white man beating up a sister, for as we know,
Right.
which would make it even more shameful because the brothers didn't intervene. If it was that case, saying to make it
Mm.
that would make it shameful. But they always use weapons of mass distraction. They flood us with foolishness to keep us from paying attention to what's really going on. They want us to be entertained by nonsense, and they even create these scenarios. If we pay attention to the perpetrators of these so-called alleged crimes, it's the same MO. They're wearing pink. They're wearing pink. Um, they're wearing they're wearing like a red bandana. I noticed that, and they're sticking out. You can pick if you had a picture of the Million Man March, you could pick them out at the Million Man March. They're so distinguished from everybody else,
Mm.
and and doing these things, looking right into a camera.
Right.
You know, everybody know that in New York City, well, most places in the United States, there's cameras everywhere, and they don't like to consider some of our people mentally ill. With all we've gone through,
Mm.
you think we'd be the most mentally ill, right?
Absolutely.
From my sojourn in America, with all we've gone through, all we've been put through, that we'll be
Yeah,
the
we'd have a
most.
reason to be crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
Yet we have maintained, for the most part, our sanity to a fault, because sometimes we need to go crazy
Hmm.
and do things. And another thing, why now? Why not when Asian men were putting their hands on our sisters? Why now? All of a sudden, we're attacking people.
Mm.
You know, it makes absolutely no sense. If you're going to say something, make it make sense.
Yeah.
But it's not making any sense to me that we would go out and we will attack Anyone. The only time we do something to someone is when somebody do something to us. We don't randomly do that
Right.
to people. We don't do that. That's their thing. That's their thing to stand up on an elevated platform and shoot down into a crowd of concert goers. That's their thing. It's their thing to go into a King Super and shoot up people who are shopping for groceries or in Walmart or in a school.
Hmm.
That's their thing. But they want to make us look like we are the violent ones and the perpetrators. Brother
Right.
Kyrie, um, what's your thoughts on this, good brother?
Well, I agree most certainly with that. And I'm also starting to see a shift too, man, in the paradigm and with and it doesn't surprise me, especially with Biden and his policy, the way he's really not speaking on this immigrant and this migrant thing that's coming through because they actually want to change the focus of us being the Democratic Party's biggest supporters
Mm.
coming in to where now they want to make a shift and bring in another quote unquote minority group to come in
Indeed.
to cover that space that we had because now since our big push is for repertory damages monetarily and getting funds for that as far as foundational Black America, they have to make this push to make it seem as if though we're the cancer in this whole dynamic. So I can see, I can see what they're doing and what they're actually trying to plot and how they're trying to push us further to the back of the line. Although we're the ones that was forced here and brought here without our consent, as opposed to other ones fleeing and running from their areas to come here because of America's bullying to their country through their foreign policy, through their sanctions, through their embargo. So they want to come here to the land of milk and honey, quote unquote, again. You know what I mean? And get here. So I can see the whole dynamic of the paradigm, how that has shifted and where they're trying to make that shift to be so not so much of us that they're relying on. Because we heard the clip with our brothers and sisters that went to talk with Biden about what are you going to do for us? We got you in, and he was talking about who the migrants, the Hispanics, Mexicans that's coming in. That's who we need to be trying to hook up with. That's who they're going to look to hook up with because
Mm.
they're the ones that's becoming the brownie and not necessarily you guys. We don't need to be looking out for you again. Once again, when we get you to where you need to get to, they look at us like your job is done, so we just cash y'all to the side. We ain't giving you Negro nothing. And then we sit and bicker and fight against each other with the sisters going against Ice Cube when Ice Cube
Indeed.
had a 10-point plan and system. And they always talk about we don't have no plan or nothing. Well, I beg to differ because during 95, when we did the Million Man March, we had a black agenda.
Yes, sir.
There was a black agenda. Hell, I know you got the information. I got the information
Yes,
and the
sir.
point program and things that we can do to make it better. But nobody ever talks about that. That's not even a thought in anybody's brain. Then when Ice Cube came with his point, the first thing they want to say is, well, you was against Biden and you went and ran to Trump. He didn't run to nobody. He placed and put the program out there and asked them for somebody to sit down and talk with me. I don't care which one of y'all sit down and talk, but somebody talk to us so that way we can try to get some things done and some things that's accomplished. But the first thing they wanted to do was come after him because they wanted to represent a party and not a principle.
Yes, sir.
Or should I say principles?
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? And we got to get out of that, man. This is not about party.
I
This
mean,
is
we have
about
to,
what's going to happen for us.
if we are going to vote, brother, which I don't subscribe to, if we are
Me
going
neither,
to
brother.
vote, we need to vote our interests and
Absolutely.
stay out of these parties. Don't be, adherent and loyal to a party. Vote your interests. Whoever's speaking of your interests, that's who should get your vote. And if they say they're going to do something and don't do it, you just got to hold them accountable. But to give our vote to people without them telling us anything or what they're going to do for us tangible, we don't want symbolic gestures.
Mm-mm.
We want something tangible that we could put our hands on and see and feel and know the difference. Yet, Ice Cube gathered experts,
Right.
you know, and just because of how he make his money. Now, how can a a comedian who always run his mouth, D.L. Hughley, always running his mouth trying to drop knowledge, okay, when he hear Ice Cube doing something, all he can say is Ice Cube is known for banging albums and good movies.
Mm.
Okay, you're known for jokes. So what's the
Right.
difference? If what you're saying is making sense, why should we reduce you to what you do as a profession?
Right.
Now, you got an idiot like Donald Trump
Mm.
became president. So, and I'm absolutely certain that Ice Cube is smarter than he is.
Mm.
But he became president, and D.L. Hughley go at our brother Ice Cube like that. Well, Ice Cube is a self-made man. He got
Mm.
up out from under some people. I don't care what people say about Ice Cube.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what they say about him. He saw something that he wanted to do and he did it.
Right.
He got up from under Jerry Heller and he made his own path and walked his own path. The problem with some of our people is they look and they find something that could um, make make themselves not give our brother his credit or a way out for supporting somebody.
Right.
Like what they do with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Absolutely.
You got cats 25 years old, 26 years old talking about Malcolm X when some of their mothers wasn't even born yet.
Right.
Their fathers weren't even born yet. Don't know what happened when it came to Malcolm X. And not looking, okay, how many black men been murdered by police and wicked ass white people since 1965?
Mm.
Countless. We can't even begin to count that, brother.
Mm.
We got one important one was murdered by them 3 years later. This day,
Mm.
April
This
4th,
day. Absolutely. Absolutely.
1968. And they're talking
Absolutely.
about Malcolm X, one
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
Just say right now that okay, you're gonna roll with the Nation of Islam murdered Malcolm, which they didn't. That's one person in 90 damn years, brother.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
One, and how many of us was murdered in the Middle Passage.
Hmm.
Middle Passage
Yeah.
wasn't 90 years. That wasn't 90 years, brother.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Hundreds of millions, brother.
Yes, sir.
And then the chattel slavery
Hmm.
is another tens of
Yeah.
millions.
Yeah.
Just a way out from doing for themselves and accepting their
Yeah.
own and being themselves, brother.
Which is my point. That I was getting to, not so particular on the voting, but when we come together with a plan that we constructed, that we sat down and thought of amongst ourselves to build on the things that we need, and we present it and say, this is what we want. Although I don't believe or subscribe to it because I know they would never adhere to it because it doesn't allow them to be who they are and who they want to be
Yes, sir.
because they don't know nothing about equality and justice, especially when it comes to us. But just for the sake of argument, to show you that neither one of them are any good, we place it and we give it to you and we put it out there, and you're still not accepting of it because you're always telling us to come with it. And then what is said and what comes from it is that then we get some of our sisters talking about where do we belong in it. Well, aren't you black? Aren't you part of us all together? Aren't we the sum total of all our parts? So when I say black, I'm talking black women, men,
Yes, sir.
and children,
Yes, sir.
homosexual, straight, transgender. I'm talking black,
Exactly.
period. We deal
Period.
with all them other issues once we get together as a collective whole and say this is what we need. Because on each one of them fronts that I just mentioned, we're always at the end and at the back and always looked at as the bottom.
Yes, sir.
So how do we get together and bring that to the forefront and we get those who have the minds and who have the resources to make some things happen, and we look at them as if they sell
Yes, sir.
out or call them sell out, being counterproductive. You're not even listening to what the plan was. Half of them that went against it didn't even listen to it, didn't even know what it was. Again, not saying that's something that I subscribe to, and something that I think would work because it possibly could if the people who we was bringing it to wasn't other than who they were, the man of sin and the man of law.
Exactly. Now, when we deal with, you know, our enemy is very crafty and snake-like, you know, and our women, they accept trinkets, some of nothing, and they think they arrive with that nothing that they are offered. This fake sisterhood that they have with white women, this fake camaraderie that they have with white women, that in the end, the white woman got all the rights. And the only thing that came of it is was disrespect towards their men on the parts of our sisters. Now, we just had, in February, Black History Month,
Hmm.
which we pay homage to all of our people who stood on our behalf and people who were innovative and did things, to bring our people forth and forward. Why would we have? Why will our sisters partake in a month for themselves the month afterwards? Black History Month belonged to our women just as much as it belonged to us.
if not
And
more.
to me, more because
Yeah, like I said, if not more.
because we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for black women. So more. I'm gonna go out and say more. There wouldn't be no black history if it wasn't for black women. And we should pay homage to black women all day, every day, all year,
All the time.
all the
All
time.
the time.
So for them to take a month and say, okay, this is Black Women History Month, they don't need to do that. See, that's some feminist. That sounds like white women is, you know, all over that.
Yeah, yeah, it sounds like they created that.
The same thing with this Black Girls Rock. That sounds like a white woman. Black girls do rock,
You better believe it, brother.
you know, and we need to just get out of being separate from each other. They
Yeah,
do
we have to
everything. They
get out
work
of
hard. They work hard for that.
we have to we as a unit have to get out of being exclusive and be
Indeed,
inclusive and include us, man, into this whole picture, because it's gonna take all of us to get out of it.
exactly.
Because we so fragmented and apart from one another, and it's easy to pick us apart.
I mean, when it
But
comes to
there's
us,
some
the
do it.
family, when it comes to us being a
Yeah,
family, we need to be
yeah,
tight and solid,
absolutely,
and don't let
absolutely.
nobody else, don't let nobody in outside of
Yeah,
that.
don't nobody can't. You can't.
Because
It
when they
makes it so
come,
easy for
start
us, man, to be brought apart. And that's the whole. Again, I mean, for those that want to believe, want to say that it's a farce and it's not right, it sure is working well. Willie Lynch's syndrome is working well, brother.
it is, it is
It's working well. Because as soon as we get out of the fact that we got to come together as a unit, now we got to get out. Now we have to break away from and break down the parts of us coming together as a unit from us fighting amongst each other in
exactly,
gender, in male and
exactly.
female, in daughter against son, son against daughter, father against son. Now we got to get out of it.
Generational gap, generational gap also.
Yeah, man. You know, the youngers hating the older hating the younger, not wanting to listen to nothing.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah, yeah, we have to. We have to. Got to get out of that. It's a detriment. It kills us all.
It does. We need to just and we talked about that on Brother Chris' show, but that's another distraction also,
Mm-hmm.
weapon of distraction.
Agreed.
The
Absolutely.
generational gap, the gender divide. That's a. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
they put
Mm-hmm.
that up and they reinforce it so much to the point that we're arguing and fussing with each other instead of seeing who the culprit and the real enemy is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the problem. We should be looking at who the real enemy is and going accordingly. See, I don't use, I've said it, but we need to stop saying we need to unite because we always come together.
Yeah, and
We
we're
need
gonna
to
be forced to in a minute.
we need to stay together and stop being so inclusive. When people come asking us how can they help, just tell them, leave us alone.
Stay over there.
Stay
Y'all
over
just do
there.
what y'all do over
Exactly. Exactly. And tell your people to leave us alone.
there. That's all.
That's it. If we're left alone, we will be okay. Just leave us alone. That's all.
And that's why the brother that we talking about that we celebrate today, and I want to salute man, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Indeed.
The brother was assassinated, man, on behalf of black people, man, on this day,
Exactly.
68 years ago. In 1968, 53 years ago.
Yes, sir. And
You know,
to those
because
who go ahead, beloved.
because he said because he said that he was afraid that he was what
Integrate
integrating
that.
his people into a burning house, and this house is burning right now.
It's burning.
You know what I mean?
It's
When we
burning.
were when we were quote unquote segregated, that they created and separated us apart, we did well, brother.
Yes, we did. We did well.
We did very well. We did, in fact, we did so well that they got jealous and envious and came and destroyed all our places and endeavors in which we thrived
Indeed.
and were self sufficient.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
They tore all those places down, the ones that we know of and the ones that we've never heard of before. They tore all
Yes,
that
sir.
down.
Yes, sir.
Whenever we came together as a unit and said, you know what, we got this, we're gonna take care of it, we started thriving, they always got jealous and
Yes, sir.
always tried to destroy us, the nature of who they are.
Indeed.
I don't care where we were at on the planet. We could not be there in peace with them knowing that we were there in peace and they would come to destroy.
Because they are absolutely disagreeable to live with in peace.
You
And
gotta understand it.
to those who, put Dr. Martin Luther King in this realm with sellouts, I mean, I really don't appreciate that. I mean, I'm the first to tell you, I believe in nonviolence until you get violent with me.
Absolutely.
I believe in nonviolence until you touch me or somebody I care about. All I can promise is I won't start it.
But I'm
That's
sure
all I.
never gonna.
That's the only thing I can promise that I won't start it. Yet,
Yeah, I'm not.
Doctor
But then
Doctor
never been that
Doctor
way.
King was a giant among men, and I don't like when people disrespect him because Dr. King knew he was in danger, but the people he was going there to represent was more important. He
Yes.
prioritized them over himself.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
told him you could die if you go to Memphis.
Mhm.
And he went anyway and stood on that balcony out in the open, brother,
Yeah. Knowing he was in danger.
knowing he was in danger. Now, a sellout is somebody who hide and duck and don't want to be out in the open. That's a sellout.
Yeah.
The ones who capitulate. Dr. King didn't do that.
They didn't bow.
He didn't bow down, especially when he like the 1966 to 68 Dr. King.
Mm-hmm.
That's a different Dr. King from 63. A
That Dr.
different
King that spoke about Vietnam War,
exactly.
different king there, brother.
The People's Campaign, Dr. King.
The mountaintop, different king
Exactly.
there, brother.
Exactly. And that's a different Dr. King. He wasn't that sellout that people make him out to be. I don't like when people do sellout. Bless you, brother.
Thank you, sir. Yeah.
He loved his people. He did the best he could, and he seen that he was in error towards the end of his life.
Yeah.
He seen he was in error.
Mm.
He said, "I'm integrating my people into a burning house. Should we
Yeah.
put the fire out or should we let it burn?"
Hmm. Well, definitely not let my people enter into it. Tell them
Exactly.
to snap. You know what I mean? That's
Yes,
they
sir.
fight.
Yes, sir.
Yeah? That's their fight, and that is definitely something that we have to definitely take a look at because our brother definitely wasn't a sellout. And how would consider or saying that the man is a sellout? You need to consider those that was around him.
Indeed. Peace, Leonardo. How the good brother doing?
Much love, much respect.
Peace,
Indeed,
big
brother.
brother.
Much love, much respect.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go down in the chat. I'm here, my brother. I just wanted to give respects and love.
I,
That's all.
I
Sir,
appreciate it, brother.
Go ahead with
Much
y'all
love,
bill,
much
my good
respect.
brothers.
Indeed.
yes, sir. And we
Salute,
see
brother. Now, when you, we are taught if we make a mistake to come back and correct that mistake because we want to do things right. Exactly. That's in our lessons.
absolutely.
You know, Dr. King must have read those lessons also because he
Yeah.
came back and said, I made an error trying to integrate my people with these wicked ass people. He
Hmm.
started referring to them as wicked. And he came, he became more radical and wanted to fight on our
Hmm.
behalf against these people. And some of the sentiments that we had today, as far as divesting from these people's um, businesses and stuff and not supporting them, he was on that back then. He
Yeah,
said we need to make them hurt because if they're going to disrespect us, we don't need to spend our money with them. And
absolutely.
that's where I'm at with the Asians. If they're going to support that false narrative, that anti-black sentiment that's out here now, knowing it's not true, we need to cripple them. No more egg foo young, no more broccoli with garlic sauce, no more spring rolls, no more
Hmm.
yellow rice, none of that. Sisters, find a sister to do your nails, learn how to do your own nails. We'll buy you the
Hmm.
best manicure set you can find, and sisters get together and do each other's nails.
Hmm.
What we and find a black beauty supply that sell your products that you could, do yourself up with. If you're into that, yeah, we need to stop supporting their businesses because nobody, nobody supported them more than we did. Now, the church, as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, they are, it's it's not a lot of them that's not in cahoots with with the government. They are more interested in the faith-based initiative and getting money and driving fancy cars than they are in saving souls. And that is truth. You are absolutely right. The church is a sellout. They are not fighting for the people. They're fighting to keep the 503c tax free status. That is the absolute truth. I agree with that, brother. I agree with that. And a lot of the people in the church, they have a lot of faith in those churches, and they give a lot of their money to these churches. And for them to sell out to anybody, it's a shame, and it's not saving souls. What we need to do is start being the sanctuary ourselves. Don't let that church or not even the mosque be. You're supposed to be that yourself. Yet that's another distraction. They use weapons of mass distraction to keep us from doing what we're supposed to do, putting faith in other people, and thinking that we're going to find a benevolent white person, a white savior. That's why they put the picture up, as if we're going to have a white savior that's coming to save us. In fact, no one is coming to save us. We have to save ourselves. And until we realize that nobody is coming to save us, the one who was coming to save us is already here. That is you, and that is me. That's who is coming to save us. We have to be self saviors. How many of our loved ones went to their grave believing that? Came and gone, believing somebody's going to come save them. Nobody's coming to save us. So I don't know what's going to happen as far as unless we come together and get on one accord and be serious about what we're doing, start shucking and jiving, we're going to continue to be in the condition that we're in. And our condition really is dire because, like I said last night, we're being set up. All these narratives, these false narratives that's out here about us. Now, you had a brother who drove through a barricade. Allegedly, they said a police officer was killed, and they went to his social media and they said that he talked about losing his job and that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is his leader, teacher, and guide. All the things that we say about the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, they know, and they want to tie the brother to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, which is so cheap and so not well thought out because all members of the Nation of Islam are registered and we don't wear braids. And we're taught not to carry as much as a penknife. We don't carry weapons. We're taught to disarm people with weapons. We're taught hand-to-hand combat. And if we did have a weapon, we wouldn't be carrying it. And if we did have weapons, we are taught that we need to have permits for our weapons and don't do anything illegal. Now, It's ironic how a man in Boulder, Colorado can shoot at them and get taken into custody. He gets shot in the leg. But a man wielding a knife who has to get up on you in order to use it gets shot dead.
Yes, sir.
You know, they shoot people dead who's not a threat, but those who are shooting at them gets taken into custody. The man in Boulder, Colorado, and you know the shooter in Parkland, the man who set off bombs in New York and Elizabeth, New Jersey, and had a shootout in Elizabeth. He was taken into custody. They didn't kill him, but young black men unarmed running away get shot in the back. So this tells us that they have restraint. They have restraint. They're just not going to exercise restraint when it comes to us. They're not going to do that. So we need to recognize who our enemy is and what they are up to and what they would do. Brother Kyrie?
Yes, sir, brother. I mean, even what you said with that, even this so-called insurrection that they had, brother. What they had, only one fatality there out of
Shot
about
one
what,
woman.
two out of 2,000, and they still
Mhm.
trying to apprehend and bring them in. But yet this brother, so-called brother, that was supposed to be an affiliate of the nation, was wielding a knife, and they killed him. They couldn't shoot him to maim him. And now, as our brother told us before, that a dead man can testify.
Exactly.
He's dead.
Exactly.
We don't know what his issues were or what they said about him. Hell, we don't even know whether or not he was even existing. This is what they give
Exactly.
us. He's a dead man. We don't know where he was from, who he was, and how convenient that you have an outlet that condemns and that wouldn't allow the minister's words to be spoken. Now all of a sudden you're gonna lift the page to where his words was supposed to be the one that somebody was listening to that y'all was supposed to been banned. How
Exactly.
ironic and how convenient.
Exactly.
You
Exactly.
know what I
But
mean for that.
not only that, brother, if just because see that's a narrative they're trying to push and it's so cheap. So cheap. Just because a man says, okay, he believes in what the minister teaches, it doesn't just like Gavin Long. Gavin Long, when he went out and did what he did, he made sure they didn't tie him to the nation. Because
Hmm.
before he did what he did, he said, don't affiliate me with nobody. I'm acting
That's right.
alone. That's what he said. Because he knows what they do.
Hmm.
Excuse me. You take a brother like what's the Michael X. Johnson,
Hmm.
who served his country, like our brother Leonardo, served his country, and after serving his country, he come back and see the condition of his people. That makes a man want to snap. That's why the brother snapped because he come back here and see his people in the condition they're in. He's over there killing on behalf of America. The training that he got from them,
Yeah.
and they tried to tie him to Professor Griff,
Hmm.
saying Professor Griff trained him. Professor Griff didn't train that brother. The United States military trained him.
Yes, sir.
He's one of yours. Just like Brother Muhammad,
Mm-hmm.
they trained him also. The DC sniper. They trained him
Mm-hmm.
also. These brothers go to the military and they see the condition of their people and it just drives them crazy. I don't mean like lunatic crazy, but it makes them snap.
Mm-hmm.
And just imagine, my uncle told me that when he was in the military, the he couldn't eat in the mess hall with the white soldiers,
Hmm.
but the people who they captured could.
Can he did? Yeah.
They could eat in the mess hall with them, but the black soldiers couldn't eat in the mess hall with the white soldiers. But the POWs who they captured during the war could
On
eat
the
with them
opposing side.
on the opposing side.
Yeah, I
The
heard
enemy
that.
combatant, the enemy combatant could
Mm-hmm.
eat with the American soldiers, but the black officers couldn't. Black soldiers couldn't. He sat me down and told me, don't
Mm-hmm.
join," because I had cousins joining. He seen cousins
Right.
going away,
Right.
and then he
Right.
pulled me to the side. Don't do that.
Yes, sir.
But I joined the army though. Joined, FOI.
Yes, sir.
I joined the righteous army.
Yes, sir.
But we need to be mindful of the distractions
Yeah.
because they wave something in our hand with their hand in our face, and they hit us with the other one.
Hmm.
We need to be mindful of that. You know the old
Yeah.
Sugar Ray thing. We used to wind the back hand, hit you with the front one.
Yeah, yeah, brother. Old sucker
That's what
punch.
they do.
Man.
That's what they
Yeah.
do. We need to be mindful of that. They're full of tricks.
Hmm.
Now, we're being made to look like the violent people. Well, we're not. We're the less violent people on this planet. And we're made to look like the violent ones with mediocre statistics. And they say, well, according to the FBI, we are the most violent ones. You might as well say according to the Ku Klux Klan if you're saying according to
Hmm.
the FBI.
Hmm.
It's like saying according to the white supremacists
Hmm.
that we are the more violent people. They're taking the focus off the real culprits, it's themselves, and then being that Asians are gullible and they're really on team white supremacy themselves, they're going to roll with that because it's making them look like the victim. So if they do something to us, even if we get into a exchange with them, or if we get into a verbal or a physical exchange with them, they're going to look like the victim because of the narrative. Like the sister that was murdered 3 years ago in the farmers market in California, shot in the head over a verbal dispute. She murdered the sister in the farmers market.
Hmm.
They make themselves look like the victims when in reality we are the victims. One situation, they called it, everybody on the train was like, the Asian guy started. He called the brother a nigger repeatedly.
Yeah.
Called him a nigger repeatedly. Then when the brother put hands on him, he want to act like the victim.
Hmm.
We gotta be mindful. Don't engage these people because for one, it's a setup. Don't engage them unless they put their hands on you. Don't engage them because they're not even worth it. because they're trying to set us up. We can't fall for that okey doke.
Absolutely. They're just trying to get that bill passed, brother, to where if we even say anything, it can be held as a crime.
Verbal
Try to
dispute
have it get locked up. Yeah, brother.
is a hate crime.
Yep.
A verbal dispute. You can't even disagree with
Wow.
them. If they talk disrespectful to us, we just have to take it.
Hmm.
And we know that they talk disrespectfully to us all the time.
Absolutely.
We just got to take it. Again, if we gonna put hands on them the way they say we're putting hands on them, it should have been last year when they
Yeah.
was hitting on our women.
Mhm.
That's when we should have put hands on them. We don't do that.
Yeah. This would have been happening many years ago because they've been doing this to our sisters, man, and some of our young sisters, man, for a long time in their places of business.
Exactly.
Because
I
we're the
watched
ones that support their places of business.
exactly.
But the
Nobody
bad
support
business,
them like
I
we do.
mean, yeah, they get rich off us.
And if you come short, you can spend a lot of money with them. You come short, they're like, no. You can buy stuff all month. You come short one day, they still don't let you go. That's how those people are. I'm not anti anybody. I'm pro me and mine because
Absolutely.
I'm not going to spend energy thinking about these people like that or know people like that. I'll spend my energy trying to raise the conscious level of my people and try to bring our people out of the condition that we're in. That's my energy focal point.
The focus. And that's what it
And,
should be.
and then they try to set up these traps and these distractions, you know, with the Asians, with the white supremacist killings, with the police stops, you know, and you see videos every day of brothers getting pulled over and harassed by the police, and some of them lose their lives. Some of the brothers stand up for themselves. I mean, I'm always happy to see that. But I tell brothers all the time, have that camera on deck. Have that phone on your dash before that police officer get to
Right.
your car. Press record.
Definitely
Press
a
record.
tool and a weapon, brother, now in these days.
Exactly. And then don't answer no questions. That's it. Answer no questions. Because if you stop me for a traffic violation, tell me what it is, give me my ticket, let me go. I'm gonna answer no questions. And I'm not helping you do your job. No.
Hmm.
You get paid for doing your job. I'm not helping you do your job. And if you violate my rights, I'm suing you. That's it. Keep it plain. Simple and plain. Now with this George Floyd thing, the Derrick Chauvin trial, what do you think about that, brother?
Oh, brother, I mean, that's one of the. You see him trying to garner sympathy. I'm watching the judge as well, man, who's just as racist, brother. And you can see that the way that he's coming against the witnesses and stuff that's coming up, man, to testify. But all in all, man, with the cameras and everything that's going on, man, with this case, brother, it's going to be interesting to see what verdict comes back out of it from the jurors because from what from what I'm seeing, it looks like a slam dunk. You know,
Yeah, it
the
does.
defense attorney, he's I don't know what he got it from. He look like he's working with the he's like he's working in favor of the prosecution. I mean, because he's an idiot. But the testimony of the officers in the case and everything and what they seen, they know that they really need to bring back a guilty verdict because
Yeah,
they know they need to bring it back. So they're pushing, and even the media outlets are even almost trying to coach them to push for this jury to come back with guilty verdicts because they know if it don't, it's liable to start this thing, kick this thing back up all over.
I mean, for one, it's not only going to heat back up, it'll be worse because you're not going to tell me I didn't see what I seen.
Absolutely.
A man get murdered in front of me, in front of the whole world, and you're going to tell me this is okay?
Hmm.
This is okay to do. Put your knee on a man's neck for damn near 10 minutes, and then stare off, and then when people try to help him rather, you keep them at bay with mace, and then you got
Hmm.
other officers keeping onlookers at bay. Excuse me. I want to point out it was an Asian cop that did that, kept the
This is true.
people at bay.
Was he louse?
You know, when they was telling him when he could have helped the brother,
Yeah,
he could have got
yeah.
his fellow officer off the brother's neck. But no, he kept the people back. Law enforcement kept the people back while a rogue piece of crap cop murdered somebody.
Hmm.
How could you, as a law enforcement officer, watch a police officer murder somebody? Now, shooting is bad. Shooting a man in the back and just shooting a man for nothing is bad. But a slow kill like that, and you watched it.
Yeah,
That was a slow. That was a slow agony kill.
that was intentional.
Intentional too. Intentional agony kill
Hmm.
that that he perpetrated.
Hmm.
And they trying to. I hope that they do the right thing because if they don't, it's going to be a. You're going to be talking about civil unrest. They haven't seen anything yet. They haven't seen anything yet.
That there was the equivalent of a modern day lynching, brother.
Yes, it was. Yes, asphyxiation
Uh, of a modern day lynching.
instead
Since
of a rope, they put a knee.
yeah, he put a knee there since 1555, big brother. Yes, sir.
1619 was actually when the chattel slavery started.
Hmm.
But us being murdered and um
15,
and killed in
brother. He's been coming
1555.
since even before that through the Middle Passage
Indeed, indeed,
in the halls of them ships, man, coming over,
exactly. And then some was
fighting.
jumping off. Some would jump
Yeah,
off because they weren't going to be subjected
yeah,
to that.
yeah. They knew. That's when they say, man, in the old stories that we have, what's the $64 question?
Yes, sir.
5 and 16, 19.
And those are synonymous to the lost years.
Those lost years, absolutely. They know before they started recording and wanting it to come and be made known to public, which is right
Yes, sir.
down there in D.C. right now. That the obelisk monument that they have that's up there, that memorial, that is what? 555 feet high,
Yes, sir.
but the shape of it is the one. So that's the 1555.
Yes, sir.
They know it's all hidden and put even inside of the one who constructed and made and orchestrated the architecture of DC itself, right?
Yes.
You know, our big brother, one of our one of our brothers who's one of our great architects
Yeah, he wrote the world's first almanac also.
as well. Yes, sir. You know, so there's signs and keys and hidden gems and all of
Yes, sir. We just need to keep them, as we say, keep them honest every time they come with a lie.
it. That's right.
We
Expose it.
come out, we expose it, come out with the truth.
Expose it. Expose it. And let them know, man, we see exactly what you're doing. And
And
keep our people well.
the brothers and the sisters who are on YouTube, like a sister, Vicky X Dillard,
Yes,
you
sir.
know,
Shout out to the sister.
what's the sister name, Lioness Crown, and all those
Yes,
other
sir.
sisters who are out there
Yeah.
and who are putting in that work, and um, Griff, Dr. Boyce Watkins, all those brothers who are out there
Yes, sir.
putting that work in and giving all that truth. Brother Ben X, Brother Reza Islam, who's putting that
That's right.
work in. Every time they come with these lies, they expose those
That's
lies.
it.
Just keeping these
Yeah,
people
stay on them,
honest.
man.
Got to stay
Stay on.
on these people because Negroes like Roland Martin,
Oh my goodness,
he,
brother.
he's a capitulating fool who just rolling with everything they say. Now, like Brother Jason Black and Professor Black Truth and the Black Authority, these brothers keep
You
their foot on these crackers'
put on his
necks.
neck. Yeah, brother.
Every time they come out with some nonsense, these brothers is on it. They're on it. So
Yes,
these
sir.
brothers ought to be appreciated. They ought to be
Absolutely.
appreciated. And while we're appreciating somebody, I just want to, send some positive energy and prayers to our brother DMX. Hope he make a full recovery.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You
Yes,
know,
sir. Much praises, man, and
you know,
wishing our brother, man, a strong recovery and hoping that he be all right, man.
indeed.
And to
Hope
his
the brother
family
be
and to
okay.
his love.
Yeah, anybody who love him and care, we
Yeah,
just wish you well and wish him well. You know,
yeah.
very intricate brother in our culture of hip hop, and we want to keep
Absolutely.
him around. Hope the brother pulled through.
Yes, sir.
You know, and a lot of people like to get into what happened. No, no, I just want to send
No, it's
that
not. It's
positive
not.
energy. It's not
Yeah,
about
it's
that.
not. No,
It's not
not
about
necessary.
that. Not even necessary. Because I listened to him talk and his demeanor, the brother, he's a loving brother, but he has faults like all of us,
Absolutely, brother.
like all of us.
That's right.
So,
He who was without the first stone cast. He was without
exactly,
sin cast the first stone.
exactly,
So I put mine behind my back, brother.
indeed. I'm not casting a stone because I don't have the right to.
That's right.
So that's that with that, brother.
Yeah.
But we need to stay focused, and we need to worry about ourselves and don't worry about these distractions that they're putting out. Stay
Absolutely.
focused,
Agree. Agree.
and when we see lies, call them out. If you got to do it every day, call it out.
That's right. That's right.
You
Don't let
know,
them get
I
away
don't care,
with it.
care if you got to do a 3 minute video, just calling out their lie. Call that lie out because they're
That's
going to keep them coming. They're going to keep the lies coming.
right. This is what they are, brother. This is what they do.
Exactly, and they do it on a massive level because they control the airwaves. That's why we
They,
say weapons of mass distraction. Mass.
yes, sir.
And if we don't, those mass distractions can be mass destruction on our part. So we got to be mindful of that, because we're the ones who they're trying to destroy.
True.
They're trying to destroy us, and the
Brother,
world is watching. The world's watching.
brother. Yeah, absolutely.
The world is watching.
So how do you get in 10 million places at once now?
That's just a click, brother.
Radio, click,
Yeah.
computer,
I
digital.
mean, the radio back in the days used to didn't go so far.
Mm-mm.
Remember those days when
Yeah.
you can get too far from New York, you can't get WBLS, you can't
Chasing
get
them.
98.7 Kiss. You start getting WDAS when you get near Philly. Though I love that station.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, my favorite
Yeah.
station, DAS Philly. But when you get too far from New York, you can't get the New York stations.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can listen to any station you want to listen to.
That's right. Through satellite, bro.
You can listen
Satellite
to
radio.
Chicago, Atlanta radios, Albany, Georgia radio stations. You can listen to anything you want to listen to now through
Yep.
streaming.
Yep.
So they got ways of, you know,
Connected.
getting a message. Well, it's really a mess age, brother.
True that.
That's what it
True
is.
that.
It's a mess age.
Mm-hmm.
You know, muse sick in our mess age.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is. As our brother Chuck D penned. Muse
Yes, sir.
sick in our mess age. And we are
Yes,
living in
sir.
a mess age, brother.
Hmm.
Any final sentiments or words, brother, before we know sign off?
I think, well, I just say have truth, must travel and stay on their necks, man. Keep this word and keep truth going. Do not let them do not let them get away with the narrative that we are the ones that's causing these violent acts, or we are the perpetrator.
Yes, sir.
When we know that this is a country that has been based on bullying, this is what they've been doing. And if
Yes, sir.
there's a crime against bullying, then this country should be on trial.
Mm. Yes, sir. Well, my last sentiments is we're not going to hear lies and falsehood and don't challenge it. We're going to
That's right.
challenge it we're going to challenge it every time. We're going to keep on studying to show ourselves approved,
Absolutely.
and we're going to teach our people, and we're going to bring our people up. And we're going to, as the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, Allah is going to prepare a table for us in the midst of our enemy.
Of our enemies. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. This is the enemy's public, and I am Brother Nasir.
And this is Brother Kyrie.
Peace. Salute, good brothers.
Peace.